the opener is called Supplica, which means entreaty or supplication in Italian. Somehow titles always sound better when they're in a different language, at least to me. So it's a very quiet, entirely slow piece, mostly quiet, that doesn't use the entire orchestra. There are no woodwinds and no percussion. I found as I get older that I don't see the point in writing for instruments you don't need. And the players are okay with that. They get a little more downtime. So I wrote Supplica for this somewhat reduced orchestra, but full strings and brass. And it is just a supplication. It's a kind of meditative piece that is meant not just as a prayer. To me, supplication or entreaty has a little bit more depth to it or intensity or something than just prayer. So that's why I called it what I called it. The Concerto for Orchestra was, as the title suggests, a showpiece for orchestra without a separate soloist. Everyone in the orchestra is a soloist. And it is meant first and foremost to be a showpiece. It's not a piece that's about anything. I don't have an interesting backstory to tell about it. In a way, the most interesting thing perhaps is the structure of the piece, because I didn't want to do another 3-movement concerto. I've done plenty of those. So I ended up with a form that would be 5 short movements, 5, a couple minutes each. That would be fast, slow, fast, slow, fast. And then 2 larger movements, a slow movement and a fast movement, in which the material from the earlier movements would be returning and developed and so forth more. But when I say it's not about anything, that doesn't mean there are no emotional states trying to be presented. There are things that are very contemplative in it. There are things that are very brash. There are all sorts of places one can go on an expressive level as a listener, but they don't have to think of it as having been inspired by an event or that it's trying to be a narrative in some way. I think whenever one says Fifth Symphony, there are lots of famous Fifth Symphonies, Tchaikovsky and why am I not thinking of any others, but Nielsen, Sibelius, and so on. But generally, if you just say Fifth Symphony, people think of Beethoven. That was the piece I first heard when I was 6 years old that made me decide that I wanted to be a composer. And so it has always had a special place in my heart. And so when it came time to write my fifth, I thought I'd have a little tip of the cap to Beethoven. So I used the rhythm, da-da-da-da, that of course is so famous in the Beethoven. Although you'll probably edit this out. I did a post-concert and there was somebody who said, are you going to pay the Beethoven heirs royalties for having stolen his rhythm? And of course you never have it was such an absurd question that I had no answer ready. But my answer now would be, well, Haydn uses that rhythm all over the place, so I guess Beethoven should have paid him royalties. But wait, that is part and parcel of the French overture, the Baroque overture, da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. And so I thought, well, I guess Haydn should have been paying Lully. But wait, you find it all over the place in Renaissance madrigals. So I guess Lully should have been paying, you get the idea. So yes, I just use the rhythm. I don't use the notes. I don't use the da-da-da-da. I just use the rhythm. And there is one point that I do take a chunk from the Fifth Symphony of Beethoven. The music that it forms the transition between the third and fourth movements of Beethoven, which is the section with just very quiet strings and a timpani solo that just goes for a while. My tempo is much faster, so far nobody has commented on it. Nobody seems to have noticed it. But that's the extent of the Beethoven references. But a lot of my music it pays homage to, or thanks in a way. That's what an homage is, I guess, is really thanking somebody for having provided you with something that's enriched your life so much. So I've had a lot of composers to thank over the years. And so this is my Beethoven thank you. The Nashville Symphony did a wonderful job with my fifth, and is doing a wonderful job with these pieces this week too. So I'm sure you'll have at least a well-played, beautifully played CD, whether people like the music or not. But this has been a very responsive and welcoming orchestra, and the maestro is a wonderful person as well as a wonderful musician. And that's always a great combination, so I feel very much at home here.